Welcome to Talk Purpose and Truth with Eden and Kim, shifting you into higher consciousness, the show that elevates, uplifts, and encourages listeners to grow, heal, awaken, and evolve. Eden and Kim include bold topics, special interviews with inspiring guests, intuitive readings, channeled messages from beyond, including celebrities, hot topics to expand your awareness, and time for questions from the audience. Tune in for unprecedented truth, authenticity, on-purpose discussions, and magical moments.
Opportunities for bullies to have their power, you know, and so it is a big epidemic. And so since Steve is here, I would love to start with that. You're known to be big on anti-bullying. Can you talk about this? And I know you were talking about how it is related to mental health and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest problem with, actually it's not a problem, you can never stop bullying. It's always going to happen. Like when kids are going through puberty and they're going through that stage of their life, it's really like an animal kingdom. It's like a totem pole. So if you can't stop it, you have to do something to change the environment. So that's why with me, I'm big on martial arts and sports for these kids, because it's such a tool of empowerment to help them and with their own mental health to deal with these problems.
Okay. Do you have a program for kids?
Do I? No,
Yeah,
I just support a lot of them.
You do? Okay.
Nice.
Okay. And how? How do you support them?
Oh yeah, I volunteer all the time and teach jiu-jitsu and wrestling for these kids, yeah.
Okay.
That's amazing. Yeah, I think that I've seen a difference in kids who are very involved in any activities that are positive. Like if they're very heavily involved in something like theater, dance, martial arts, like you're saying, sports, it's I think it's less likely that they're gonna notice things like that or even be involved in it, but it doesn't.
And wrestling was my second. And I still love it. When I go back to Connecticut, I volunteer at the high school and I teach wrestling to the high school kids.
Nice.
And I love it. Those kids love me, and like watching them grow as men and get better every single year is a priceless experience.
Right. Well, and I think you're like, I don't know if you already go speak at schools too, but but I love that. I think a lot of MMA fighters just think like, well, I don't have to go to college, I don't need to get any like background learning, I just jump into the sport and that's that. And I think you're a good example of doing all of it and being well-rounded.
Yeah, because I mean, most athletes in general, to be a Hall of Famer and be wealthy, I mean, the chances of that are like 1%. So most guys, when they're done fighting, it's a wrap for them.
Right.
You know, they don't have anything to fall back on. And that's like, I know we're talking about networking, but that's why I tell these fighters, they need to network while they are fighting.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you don't wait until you're done to figure out what you want to do. While you're at your glorious chapter, you need to go network with people, because this is when people respect you the most.
Very true. And then sometimes you might
Experience speaking and media and hosting and stuff. And she's a medium, and even though I'm an intuitive, I was not a full-on medium. And so now I've started to have that a little bit, but I don't compare myself to you.
Okay.
And we're just different.
Yeah.
So I love that analogy. You're
we're
not
all-
a chapter, we all have different gifts.
Yeah, we're all wired different, and you have to respect everyone's wiring the same.
Yeah.
If everyone was wired the same, we wouldn't get anywhere in life.
Yeah, I love that.
Oh, very
You know,
true.
it makes me think, so I coach people when they're on.
Veterans commit suicide every day. That was back in 2010. That's why I said, you know, your personal mental demons are the biggest bully in the world, and they're the hardest thing to get over.
That's what you're talking about with bullying.
Oh, yeah.
And then my mom is my hero, so I have the Giving Tree right here. She's always reads to me as a child.
Oh my God, I love that book.
I love that
it's the best
book
book
too.
ever.
That's
Best
so
book ever.
special.
It's my favorite.
Yeah.
Shel Silverstein.
Yeah.
Yes, that is right.
Yeah, my kids have that book still.
Oh, yeah?
And it has I drew in the book as a kid, and they have my book of when I was a kid. So
Oh, yeah.
I think it's really
Special.
old.
Yeah. Yeah, that is so cool. I love that
Thank
tattoo.
you.
Oh.
Wow, okay. And so just talking about your brother for a minute.
Yeah.
So he was in the military?
Yeah, he was in the Army. He was stationed at Fort Hood, Texas, and he obviously you don't know the whole story. So in the middle of the night, he woke up in the middle of the night and killed his wife, and then he killed himself. So
Oh.
it's one of those things. It's kind of like there's never will be closure because we don't know.
Like
You know.
total mental health, like
Yeah, I mean,
paranoia. He might have saw somebody different.
Yeah,
When,
exactly. Had a night tremor. He could have killed his wife, and then the military police came and he maybe opened fire and they killed him. You don't have no idea what happened.
Right.
You know.
Oh, it's tragic.
I know.
How long ago was that?
2010, September.
Oh, okay. Wow. I'm sure it's something you don't really get over.
Impossible.
Yeah.
Impossible. For me, the reason why it's so hard for me, it's not just because of my brother, it's like, how is it possible? Because I'm an alpha, I'm very tough, but he was on a whole nother level than I was. He was like the homecoming king, college scholarship for football, like the toughest kid in the school, no one would mess with.
On the pedestal.
Yeah, he was on the pedestal, he was that guy, and I was aspired to be him, and I was never quite him, you know, and so to know that he mentally broke somehow, is like, that's what doesn't sit well with me. I always wonder.
Because you looked up to him.
Looked up to him.
Yeah.
For more information on Eden, go to edensustin.com. For more information on Kim, go to kimlifecoach.com. Make sure to follow them on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Talk Purpose and Truth Podcast. If you loved this episode, you'll love every episode. So be sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything. Thank you for listening.